I thought my wife was pregnant with our first child. It's actually my mother. My wife is in labor, and I'm 100 miles away, praying the baby kills her. That sounds monstrous, I know. But you don't understand what's wearing her skin, and you don't know what's waiting inside her womb, ready to claw its way out. It took me 9 months of blissful ignorance to see the truth. Now I see it every time I close my eyes. My whole life, I've tried to be normal. It's all I ever wanted. I grew up in a small house on the edge of the Pendle forests, and my mother was different. I don't mean she was cruel. She never laid a hand on me. But she had this hobby. She walked in the woods at night. She'd come back just before dawn, clothes torn, hair tangled with burrs and twigs, smelling of damp earth and something else. Something metallic and sweet, like old blood. Our town is steeped in the history of the 1612 witch trials. For most, it's a tourist trap. For my mother, it was scripture. She wasn't interested in the history, though. They only got it half right, she'd say, her eyes distant. They prosecuted the flock, but they never even saw the shepherd. The only time she ever scared me, truly scared me, was when I was about 15. I'd made some dismissive comment about it all being superstition. She didn't get angry. She just stopped stirring the pot on the stove and looked at me. Her face was still. "You don't hear it, do you, Kester?" she said, her voice a low hum. "You don't hear the soil calling." She sounded so disappointed, like I'd failed a test I didn't even know I was taking. After that, she started trying to get me to join her on her walks. I always said no. I can't decide what's worse, never knowing what she did out there, or the bone-deep certainty that I was right to be afraid of it. I felt this wrongness in her, this thing coiled just beneath the surface of her love, and I ran from it. I ran all the way to university. I ran right into Anja. She was everything my childhood wasn't. Bright, logical, grounded. We built a life together brick by ordinary brick, a degree, a flat, a marriage. I was a normal man with a normal wife. I kept my mother at a distance, a phone call on Sundays. I told myself the strange woman in the woods was just an eccentric old lady. She was happy in her own way, and that was enough. Then, last summer, it all shattered. My mother, 74 years old but still wiry and sharp, was found walking naked down the high street at midday. She was smeared in mud, and what the police later told us was deer blood. There were symbols drawn on her skin and twigs woven into her hair like a crown. At the hospital, a doctor gave us the diagnosis: sudden onset dementia, likely triggered by a minor stroke. "But we just saw her," Anja had said, her hand tight in mine. She was fine. The doctor gave us a sad, tired nod. "I'm sorry. It can happen this way, very fast." It wrecked me. Losing the only parent I'd ever known, not to death, but to this slow, cruel erasure. Anja was my rock. And in the middle of all that grief and confusion, she told me she was pregnant. It felt like the universe was giving me back something that had been taken away. I didn't see the switch. God help me, I didn't see it at all. I just thought the pregnancy was changing her. That's what I told myself. Her hormones were all over the place. That's why she wasn't sleeping. That's why she started saying such strange things, whispering to her own belly. "The little root is digging so deep," she'd murmur, her hands tracing patterns on the swell of her stomach. "Soon we'll break the surface, my love. Papa is just the gate. We won't need him for long." That one hurt, but I brushed it off. A clumsy joke, a tired mind. I ignored the way she'd sometimes stare out the window towards the north, towards Pendle, for hours. I ignored her new cravings, not for pickles or ice cream, but for handfuls of soil from the garden, which she'd eat when she thought I wasn't looking. I chalked it all up to the beautiful, terrifying mystery of creating a life. I was a fucking idiot. The truth came yesterday. I was at the care home, sitting with my mother. Or the woman I thought was my mother. She was a shell. Frail, her ankles swollen, her white hair falling out in wisps. She hadn't recognized me or said my name in months. Mostly she just stared at the wall, her mind a blank, ruined landscape. But last night, her eyes focused. "Kester, My heart seized. Tears sprang to my eyes. It was a whisper, but it was my name. Ma, you know who I am? I leaned forward, grabbing her thin, cold hand. Her eyes were wide, panicked. Her gaze darted around the room. Anja, she rasped. Anja's at home, Ma, I said gently, my voice thick. She has to rest. The baby's coming any day now. A choked sob ripped from her throat. It was a sound of pure terror. She squeezed my hand with a strength that startled me, her whole body trembling. Kester, it's me. I gave her that stupid, patronizing smile you use for the confused elderly. I know it is, Ma. No. Her eyes burned into me. It's Anja. She jabbed a trembling thumb at her own chest. I'm Anja. I felt a cold prickle of annoyance, a new delusion. My wife's name tangled up in the broken wires of her brain. The moment of clarity was gone. Nice while it lasted. You're tired, I said, starting to pull my hand away. I should go. Don't. Her grip was iron. The fertility clinic, Kester. That night, after they told us it was probably hopeless, we sat in the car and I cried. I told you I wasn't scared of being childless. I was scared you'd see me as broken. Scared you'd leave. Her voice cracked, and for a second, a whole terrible second, she was my wife again, right there in front of me. You promised me. You said you and me are the whole world. Anything else is just scenery. You promised. My breath hitched, my blood ran cold. No one knew that. No one, not a soul. It was a secret whispered in the dark of a car, a sacred promise between two broken people. It wasn't a story you tell, especially not to your strange witchy mother. And then, just as quickly, the light in her eyes died. The focus shattered. She looked at my hand in hers with disgust. Who are you? She screeched, yanking her arm back. Get out of my room. Nurse. I stumbled backward out of the room, my legs shaking. I didn't stop until I was in my car, fumbling with the keys, my mind screaming. Anja. That was Anja, trapped in my mother's dying body. Her mind, my wife's beautiful, logical mind, was a prisoner in a decaying cage, flickering in and out of existence as the brain it inhabited shut down around her, neuron by neuron. The implications hit me then, one after another, like body blows. If Anja is in there, then who is in my house? Who is carrying my child? When did we... Oh God. I pushed the car as fast as it would go, the trees lining the motorway blurring into a solid wall. I wanted to smash right into it. It would be easier than facing the memory that was clawing its way up from the basement of my mind. I was 5 years old. A nightmare, I'd always called it. My mother pacing in the hall outside my room, her voice a low, urgent whisper. She wasn't alone. I could hear another sound, a dry, rustling hiss, like roots scraping against stone. The boy is a closed door, my mother had whispered. I did the ritual. The vessel is clean, but he won't open it. The hissing sound answered, too low for me to understand. No, I've waited long enough. He was supposed to unearth what sleeps. He was meant to be the key. More rustling. I am your most faithful. He devoured his father. The seed is in him, but he's weak. He won't let you in. I shook my head, gripping the steering wheel. A bad dream. A child's fantasy. But it wasn't. I'd known my whole life something was wrong with me, not just with her. A quiet, hollow space inside me. A door I'd instinctively kept locked and bolted my entire life. I saw my house. The bedroom light was on. A silhouette stood in the window. My wife. The light clicked off. Not Anja. My hands trembled so badly it took me 3 tries to get the key in the front door. I pushed it open, expecting an empty hall, expecting her to be gone, but she was there, standing in the darkness at the foot of the stairs, her hands cradling her belly. She could have lied. She could have played the part, calmed me down, told me my mother's delusion had spooked me. She could have kept the charade going. She didn't. You need to be calm now, Kesty, she said. The sound that came out of me wasn't a scream. He was a wet, guttural heave as I threw up all over the welcome mat. Kesty, the name my mother used when I was small and sick with a fever. A name Anja never even knew. I looked up, wiping my mouth, and saw the smile on my wife's face. It was my mother's smile, triumphant, predatory. "It will all be over when the little one arrives," she said, taking a step down. Her movements weren't Anja's. They were too fluid, too deliberate. "Isn't that what you want? Aren't you tired of being so empty?" I tried to speak, but my throat was a knot of stone. I scrambled backward, out the door, tripping down the steps into the cold night air. She followed me, unhurried, onto the path. The orange glow of the streetlight fell across her, and a deeper, more primal fear gripped me. This thing wasn't just my mother and Anja's body. It was something less, something else. As she moved, the flesh on her arm seemed to shift, to ripple under the skin. The taut globe of her stomach writhed, not with the gentle kick of a baby, but with a slow, powerful churn, like something burrowing. "You could still open the door, you know," she said, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. She was closer now. "He is in you, the root below. You've felt him your whole life, haven't you?" A rattling behind a locked door. "Just let him in. He's so hungry." I couldn't run. I was frozen. A boy again, staring at the monster that slept in his mother's bed. "The new seed needs fertile ground," she hissed, reaching a hand out. Her touch was light, but it sent me sprawling backward onto the cold pavement. My head cracked against the stone. Stars exploded behind my eyes. She stood over me, a dark angel in my wife's shape. The chosen host must break the seal. "Your father was the first lock. You broke him before you could even walk. But you were too weak to break the second. You refused me." She looked down at her belly with adoration. "But this one is strong. He will devour us both. He will turn the key. He will open the way for the root to take its rightful vessel, for him to finally claim you." A sob tore from my chest. Not true. It couldn't be. My fingers found my car keys in my pocket. I thumbed the unlock button. The car beeped. Her head snapped toward the sound. That was all the chance I needed. I rolled and scrambled on my hands and knees, terror giving me a strength I didn't know I had. I pulled open the driver's side door and threw myself inside. I saw her in the side mirror, standing right behind the car now. Her speed was impossible. A searing pain, her fingers dug into the flesh of my neck, nails like razors. She spun me in my seat to face her through the open door. "He is inside you," she roared, and the voice was not my mother's or Anja's. It was a chorus of scraping rock and tearing roots. "Weak boy. You've starved him for 38 years. Let him in," she squeezed, and my vision swam in blackness. I clawed at her hand. Then she grunted, a sharp intake of breath. Her grip loosened. She let me go and clutched her stomach. We both looked down. A dark liquid was spreading across the front of Anja's jeans. It wasn't water. It was thick, black, and smelled of wet soil after a storm. A slow, serene smile spread across her face. My wife's beautiful face. She took a step back from the car. She let me go. I slammed the door, locked it, and threw the car in reverse, tires screaming on the asphalt. I didn't look back. I've been driving for hours. But it doesn't matter how far I go. She'll find me. It will find me. It will be born, and it will come for us. It will come to turn the key and open the door I've spent my entire life keeping shut. I don't pray to God. I pray to the hollow, empty space inside me. I pray that the door holds.